All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this awesome special training call. This is your host, Tim Mai, and I also have my co-host with me, Ross Hamilton.
Hello, hello.
And yeah, Ross and I are very excited to be doing this training for you. You know, we could easily charge $1,000 for this 4-week training series that we are doing this month. But because we want to celebrate your success, we want to make sure that we empower our members, both the DoDeals.com members as well as the ConnectedInvestors.com members, to be as successful as you can be for 2011 here. We want 2011 to be your best year yet for your real estate business. And so we want to make this training very special to you. Instead of charging you $1,000 for this, we're doing this for you for completely free. However, keep in mind that we are going to go through and teach you a lot of content, a lot of actionable items, a lot of trade secrets, as if you have paid for this this training. And so I want you to take it very seriously. I want you to go close your door, lock your office, get your notepad, get your pen ready, take a lot of notes while we're going through these training. And what's even more important is that don't just learn what we have to teach you, because the truth of the matter is, we can teach you until we're blue in the face. You can learn this until you passed out. And you're not going to make any money until you apply what we're teaching you in this 4-week training series and take action on them, because action is where it's going to convert into money into your pocket. And so I'm really excited about this training, and I know Ross is as well. So I'll let Ross say hi and kick it off for us.
Hey, Tim. Hey, everyone on the line. I am super pumped about this. Tim and I were masterminding, getting together, wanting Due Deals members and Connected Investors members to be the most successful real estate investors out there, because you really have everything you need to succeed in real estate right at your fingertips. But sometimes it just takes a little bit of slowing down, and connecting the dots of how the tools you have access to, the resources you have access to, can be turned into real dollars really fast. And we want 2011 to be the best year of your life, but the techniques we're showing you right now have worked all throughout, at least the last 20 years, and are going to continue to work up until 2020. Okay. After that, things might change a little bit. I don't want to get that far into the future, but these are time-tested techniques that work. And like Tim said, we can teach you till we're blue in the face, and actually, we are going to teach you until we're blue in the face. And this is real training. It's not Swiss cheese training. We're not leaving anything. We're not leaving anything out. And we're really going to show you how to rock and roll. Now, some of the, actually, you just saw a really cool little feature pop up on the screen. We're going to show you all these cool features to make sure you can manage yourself and other people really efficiently so you can make a lot of money. All right. Tim, should we jump into it, or do you have anything else you want to say?
Nope, let's jump into it. Well, let's have some fun, because we have a lot of content to go through, and so we're going to go a little bit fast. Just keep in mind that you can submit your questions to us, and we'll help you. We'll answer as much as we can. And also to the last training in this series, we're gonna make sure we have a lot of answer all of your questions. So as you submit in your questions and stuff, we'll use that last one not only teach you, but to answer all of your questions as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and guys, whenever you signed up, you should have been redirected to this page right here. And on the page that you're seeing in front of your screen right now, this is where Tim and I kind of laid out the agenda. Now we're going to go over that. We're going to go over that again, but we also gave you some really great resources that are kind of secret backdoor links. And in case you haven't seen this page yet, I just wanted to pull this up. We're going to give you. You should probably just go and take this domain name down. Okay, DoDeals.com/ci. It's going to take you directly to this page. So while we're going over the agenda, you can actually, make sure you have everything set up. But while you're taking notes, I would probably even have like a sheet of paper just to write down domain names, because we're going to be sharing a lot of powerful technology with you. and that's going to help you do more deals even faster, so you can do more deals. Okay, so this is the first one of many domain names you're going to get, and that's the most important because it's going to make sure you have access to do deals and connected investors simply by clicking on the bottom right here. So if you already have a connected investors account, no do deals account, click on do deals. If you have do deals, no connected investors, click on connected investors. Just click on both of them. Make sure you're set up because we're really going to automate a lot of the processes here. Okay. Now the way we're doing this training is through, we're already talking about domain names again, Tim. This is actually a program that Tim shared with me, and it's called XMind. XMind, is it xmind.net, Tim, or xmind.com?
Yes, xmind.net.
Okay. I'm just going to pull this up right here because I use this pretty much to flow out my entire life, not just my business, but my personal as well. And this is just a cool tool, okay? This wasn't even on the agenda, but I figured since we're showing it to you, I'm just going to type it out, xmind.net. It's free. You can flow out your whole life, your whole business, and really put things in a visual, step-by-step type guide, which is what I need. All right. So as you'll see, we have 5 different parts right here. Part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and some nice action items. So let's start here with step 1. I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to do a little zooming in here just to make sure you guys can see everything. Okay. All right. Well, let's just now we're talking about doing your next deal. For some people, it's their first deal. For some people, it's their 100th deal, and they just want to learn how to do things faster and more efficiently because they're working too hard. So we're going to start the basics and work our way through. Even if you've done a lot of deals, you're going to learn something even in the very, very beginning here. So let's rock and roll through this. What is wholesaling? I get that question a lot, and I'm glad that this got thrown up on the agenda right here.
Well, first, real quick, Ross, before you jump into that, and the way we outline this is we outline this into 4 different modules that you're going to be learning in this 4-week series. So each week we cover 1 module, and so today we're going to teach you on module number 1, which is how to find buyers. And the reason why we want to start with how to find buyers first as our number 1 module is because this is actually our number 1 questions that we get asked all the time, especially in today's market. Right? It's because one of the reasons, one of the things that stop real estate investors from ever even taking action, ever getting started in real estate investing is because they're afraid that, well, what if I find a deal and I can't find any buyers? All right, and so we want to address that ahead of time and teach you how to find buyers. That way you'll be confident to proceed with talking to sellers. And also, too, this is like a reverse strategy, so that way, you know, once you have all of your cash buyers in place, the deals are very easy to find. All you have to do is find the deals that your buyers want that meets their criteria. Then you know you already have a done deal without having to worry about finding buyers once you have the deal. And so that's why we want you to start here by finding the buyers first. I know you've been taught in the past to go and find sellers. Once you have the house, then you market the house and find the buyers. And we're teaching you to do the opposite of that for the reasons that I said, which is number 1, giving you the confidence to go out there and do deals, and allowing you to get paid very, very quickly because you already know you have a buyer in place. You already know exactly how much they're willing to pay for these properties, and so so that way you can very quickly go find them a property that meets their criteria and cash in on these deals.
Now, Tim, while I'm doodling here, this right here is from 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Right.
Okay. With the end in mind. And what I want you to do is, this is 7 Habits of Highly Effective People isn't necessarily written all toward income generation. It's just having a good life in general, designing the life that you want, starting at the end and working your way backwards. Whenever you were younger and you would do a maze, does anyone remember maze books? Did you ever do mazes, Tim?
Yes,
Remember if you started at the finish and worked your way backwards, it was so much easier?
Right.
It's like all the traps that were designed in the maze didn't apply if you worked your way backwards. And that's kind of almost how it is in life. And in any business you're doing, always figure out, where are we going? How are we putting money in our pocket? Let's start there, work our way backwards. And in real estate, it happens to be selling the property. So
Right.
starting with the end in mind, how to find buyers is the most advantageous thing you can possibly do for a real estate business. If you're in real estate, you're not making money, it's because you have no buyers. So we're going to make sure that this one obstacle that, like Tim said, usually holds everyone back, is not going to slow you down. And also, once you have a lot of buyers, we don't even really need properties to make money, because you can sell other investors' properties. I mean, investors who don't have the advice that you have, who aren't as proactive as you are. So I hope you just write that down and just try to apply that throughout your life and whatever you're doing, because starting with the end in mind is absolutely key to success. And Tim, thanks for slowing me down there. I was so excited about this, I just want to start teaching. I almost oh my gosh. Okay.
Well, yeah, and I'll give another story. You know, this is not only applicable in little single-family homes, but I'm doing a big deal right now, a big bulk REO deal that's worth $5 million. Well, the purchase price is $5 million, and I did the exact same thing. I have a buyer already. I know what the buyer's looking for. I let the word out to other investors. Said, hey, I have this buyer looking for this bulk REO deal. And then the seller came along, and so now I make my money.
So much. Guys, realistically, if you want to break into, if there's residential people on the line that have been wanting to break into real estate, you know, wanting to break into different areas of real estate investing, like commercial $5 million deals, the principles we're going to go over right now work for absolutely everything, just like Tim shared with you. All right, from 2011 to beyond, right? Okay. All right, Tim, are we ready to start here?
Yeah.
All right, my heart rate's already up. I'm so excited. Okay, so what is wholesaling? Tim, let's keep it simple. What's wholesaling?
It's very simple, as it says here. You buy low and you sell low. And what that is where you find a property for a good price, for bargain basement price, and you sell it just a little bit more to a bargain hunter that's looking for a deal. And and you make your profit from that spread between what you buy it for and what you sell it for.
Beautiful, beautiful. So if you're buying a property for $20,000 and it's worth $60,000, I'm using low numbers here, guys, and you sell it to someone for $23,000, you just wholesale the deal, and you made $3 grand. All right, we're going to get into that in a second here. I just want to make sure you guys understand what wholesaling is. Now, as far as a wholesaler is someone who wholesales properties. We kind of just went over that. Tim, do you have any other?
Yeah, well, a wholesaler is basically someone who does that process that we were describing, the wholesaling process of getting a property under contract for $20,000 and then turn around immediately, resell that for $23,000. That person is a wholesaler, and and so we're gonna go throughout this 4-week training. We're going to teach you how you can make money as a wholesaler, and we'll also teach you how to make money as a wholesale marketer. And I'll go ahead and explain this part real quick, Ross. A wholesale marketer, the difference between a wholesale marketer and a wholesaler is a wholesale marketer market other wholesalers' deals and sells it. So, for example, let's say you are a wholesaler and you found this property for $20,000, all right? And I am a wholesale marketer, and I have cash buyers on my list, and I know that my cash buyer is willing to pay, say, $30,000 for your deal. I'm just giving you as an example here. Right, and so I come to you as a wholesaler and says, hey, I noticed you have this deal you're trying to sell for $23,000. I have a cash buyer that's willing to buy it. Can I sell your deal to my buyers? And you say yes, and then I go to my buyer and I sell it to my buyer for, say, $30,000. You get your $3,000 wholesale fee. I get my $7,000. Just give you an example here, but generally,
this is because we're saying that a property is worth $60,000.
Right.
We're saying a property is worth $60,000, so people are willing to pay. Okay, go ahead. Just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, and so so I'm just and it could be that I didn't find a buyer for $30,000. It could be that I just found a buyer for $25,000. So then you would make $3,000 and I would make $2,000, and we both win. Okay, and we both made money on that. So the difference, a wholesaler is someone who's out there marketing to sellers, to the homeowner sellers, negotiate with them, get it under contract, and then turn around and try to wholesale it. A wholesale marketer skips the part that deal with the homeowners. Instead of paying advertising dollars to market for a deal, to find a homeowner, get it under contract, a wholesale marketer goes directly to a wholesaler and then get that, control that deal and then sell it to their cash buyer. And so the way we make money as a wholesale marketer, and why is it that wholesalers would want to work with us, is we get really good at finding cash buyers and having cash buyers readily available to buy deals from us. And so, the wholesaler wins because they're able to sell the house much, much quicker than them selling it themselves. And we win because we have a strong database of cash buyers, and we have a relationship with our cash buyers, and so we make a little bit of profit on top of that.
Okay, I just kind of just wrote this out. It's super simple, and throughout the training, a lot of you guys understand this. That's totally fine. Okay, we're going to go over this in baby steps, but I just kind of wrote out the deal that Tim was talking about, and how you can be the wholesaler to where you get it for 20 and sell it for 23, or if you already have a strong cash buyers list built, you could buy it from a wholesaler for 23 and sell it to your cash buyer for 30. And after you're done with this training, you'll be able to buy the property for $20,000 and sell it for $30,000 because you're going to have all the cash buyers that you're ever going to need. And now the zeros you're seeing here remain the same. So, Tim, just to clarify, what you've just talked about here can be done with a commercial building worth $2 million.
Right.
And sell it for $2.3 million.
Right. Yeah, you're just adding more zeros.
It's the same exact price. It takes people a long time to understand this. It took me years. Honestly, it's embarrassing how long it took me to really understand that it's the same process, just extra zeros. And once you're playing a wholesaler or a middleman to the techniques we're going to teach you, you don't need to use any of your own money anyway. You just need to have those relationships built. You can just start with the end in mind, and it just flows like water.
Right.
Once you really understand that. Great. Okay. So we're just going through some of the housekeeping style stuff. We kind of went over the first few here. The benefits. You guys can probably feel the benefits already, but let's just outline them. Being a wholesaler, and now Tim, this is benefits for a wholesaler and a wholesale marketer.
Right. Right.
Okay. Great. So if you have the word wholesale before your title, you're good to go on this. Practically no risk. Let's talk about the word practically, because I don't want to leave anything out here. What do you mean by practically, Tim?
Well, basically, because you're not taking title to the property, you're not in a chain of title, and you don't have to put any money out. You don't have to put any of your credit out, and so your risk is very minimal. If there's any risk, for example, in cases where you do a double closing, and let's say you use a one transactional funding lender, or if like a flash cash type deal, then that's when a little risk are going to happen. But generally speaking, most of the deals that you do, you're just going to assign the contract over to the buyer, and so there's no risk. But
you're selling a piece of paper. When you say assign a contract, you mean you're selling a piece of paper, basically?
Correct.
Okay, we'll go over that. There's a whole section. Okay,
right.
Didn't mean to interrupt. Just wanted to make sure. Keep going.
Yeah, and so so you're buying these properties as is, where is. You're selling it as is, where is. You don't do anything to these properties, unless of course you decide you want to clean it up at least to make it look nicer for your landlord buyers. But certainly you don't have to do that. And then you get paid very quickly too from these deals. And it's not like a rehab deal where you buy a house. It takes you 3 months to fix it. It takes you another 3 to 6 months to sell it.
If you're lucky.
Yeah, if you're lucky. And so you enter it for 9 to 12 months before you ever get paid. This is not that. These kind of deals, you get paid very, very quickly. And I'll give you an example of how fast this can happen. I have bought a property from a wholesaler. From the time that she brought me the deal to the time that I wrote a check and paid money for that deal was within 6 hours. And so
6 hours.
6 hours.
Beautiful.
And now it was a very good deal, and so I was willing to take that risk to do that deal that fast. I normally don't do deals that fast, but I'm just giving that to you as an example, as a personal example of how fast it can happen.
Wow. And he's absolutely right. It's not going to happen that fast if you don't have buyers lined up, though. Okay?
Right.
If Tim had to start from scratch and he got a deal and he's like, I got a deal, who wants to buy it? It wouldn't work. But because we're starting with the end in mind, like 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, okay, 1 of 7, he was able to sell a deal in 6 hours. Now I'm going to go over buy as is, sell as is. When you're wholesaling deals, you're selling to other investors. So another part about how fluid wholesale deals are, this goes hand in hand, is also it's not necessarily an emotional buy like when you're selling to a retailer, because it's just if the numbers work, they move in. I mean, they don't have to worry about. I mean, then they buy the deal. You don't have to worry about selling to a retail buyer who's like, well, I don't know, I don't like the view from the master bedroom. I mean, none of that applies. It's a non-emotional sale of real estate. So buy as is, sell as is. Like Tim said a second ago, depending on the deal, 99% of the deals I do, I never even see. But when I first started wholesaling deals, I would, whenever I got a deal under contract, I'd put a little bit of money up, and I would actually, first I would have like the Salvation Army come in and get anything they wanted out of the house. That was always free. And then I would just literally throw away everything in the house. I called it the blank box. I would just throw away every door, every cabinet, everything, I would just throw it away, have someone spray the whole thing white. But you don't have to do that. That was because I didn't know what I was doing, okay? So you can buy as is, sell as is. No money, no credit. Tim, everyone always talks about no money, no credit. Does it really happen?
Of course, it happens. It happens all the time in these type of deals. Like I said, you're assigning it, you're signing the contract, or you're buying it and then immediately reselling it. And so, yeah, there's you definitely don't need to use any of your own money. You use your buyer's money. Money has to exchange hands. It's just it doesn't have to be your money. It's your buyer who's bringing the money.
Thank you. Thank you for that statement. That was very clarifying. And you know what? Like Tim said, this is happening all the time. Right now, right now someone is doing a deal, putting money in their pocket. Right now someone is getting ready to go to a closing tomorrow. It's where they're going to wholesale a deal and put a lot of money in their pocket quickly. This is literally happening probably right in your neighborhood, okay? And that could be you, and it's going to be you by the end of this training. Quick paydays, I think Tim went over that, 6 hours. It's about as quick as it gets. I have not beat 6 hours. You know, usually I get it done in about a week.
Right.
Never, you know, my model was a little different than Tim's. I would do a little auction, and we'll go over auctions too. There's all sorts of different models, all sorts of different things you can do. Now let's get a realistic idea of income potential. Okay. Before I open this module, I just want you guys to think, what do you think the income potential is when you are wholesaling? Now we've talked about commercial, we've touched base on big deals already, but we're going to focus in on residential real estate. What do you guys think the income potential is? We're just kind of getting in, getting out in 6 hours. Let's be realistic here. Okay. Tim, let's talk about a couple of these income brackets here. All right. We have income potential, 1,000 to 3,000. Very quick deals. Tim, how much did you make on your 6-hour deal?
Well, I wasn't. I was the buyer on that deal. A wholesaler brought it to me, but that wholesaler made $7,000 on that deal, bringing me that deal.
Tim, you couldn't beat him up a little more than that?
It was a really good deal.
Okay. Oh yeah. So he made about $7,000 there. 5 to 15. I mean, this is just we want to undersell and overdeliver here. This is just realistic. This is going to be on average when you're wholesaling residential homes, how much you're going to make. Now I've made 20, 30, 40, 50,000 on wholesale deals before. But those, I remember one of my mentors, I was doing a couple deals and I made 500 on one deal, 1,000 on another deal, and he's like, Ross, you're out there hunting. Sometimes you got to shoot rabbits, and every now and then an elephant will come through. And then we wholesaled a big commercial deal, and it was an insane amount of money. So, on average, this is probably a realistic idea of what you're going to.
Yeah, so I mean, the way these numbers work out is this, all right? If you are a wholesaler, your typical profit is somewhere between $5,000 to $15,000. If you're a wholesale marketer, your typical profit is between $3,000 to $5,000. And if you're just a bird dog referring a deal to somebody, and we didn't really talk too much, but if you're just doing this as a referral, then your typical profit is somewhere between $1,000 to $3,000, and that's how these numbers are broken down.
Yep. So there you go, guys. Here's some real numbers. No hype, real numbers on how much you're going to make. Great. All righty. So access you need. Okay, guys. We're going to give you a lot of different processes in the next 45 minutes here, and a lot of processes we're going to show you. There's a couple of different ways to do it. There's a way to get it done by clicking a few buttons, and there's the way to get it done by manually going out there and doing it all yourself and trying to figure it out. We have dodeals.com/$1. Tim, do you want to talk a little bit about that, or are we just going to show them?
Yeah, just go to dodeals.com/$1, and you'll be able to sign up for either our silver membership or gold membership. Basically, dodeals.com is a website, a premium service that provide real estate leads, like hot, deep discounted real estate leads to real estate investors across the U.S. And we have leads such as motivated seller leads, wholesale deals, foreclosure, REO leads, as well as landlord buyer leads and other types of leads as well. And so
it's really amazing, guys. Yeah, seriously, we're going to show you how to use it, but it's awesome.
Yes, and I mean, we have tons of leads in there available for you. So that's why between and Ross is going to talk about connected investors in a little bit here. But between the two websites, you're going to find all of the cash buyers that you ever need for your real estate business. And I mean, you know, we specialize in helping real estate investors with leads for sellers, leads for wholesale deals, leads for cash buyers, and you know, and that's why we wanted to make this available to you. Because normally, if you go directly to dodeals.com, you know that you have to pay $37 or $97 depending on the membership that you get. You have to pay money upfront to be a member. But through this special training that we have for you in this special link, you can get started for the next 30 days for just $1. So that way you have these leads available to work on, to take action on what we teach you in the next 4 weeks here.
Yeah, it's literally like while we are talking about deals, while you're on this training, you can just be in there and just be pulling up deals, and we'll go into it in a little bit. ConnectedInvestors.com. We have ConnectedInvestors.us right here. And this is just a secret link to get in because it's an invite-only platform, and this is going to get you in. We'll go into it throughout the training. All right, I want to keep things moving here, so make sure you have dodeals.com/$1 to go to ConnectedInvestors.us. You can make sure to get a Connected Investors account. Okay. Types of buyers. All right, here we go. Let's get into some meat here. We have the landlords. Tim, why don't you chat a little bit about landlords here?
Yeah, in today's market, landlords are our best buyers. You know, when the real estate market was hot and a lot of people were buying, fixing, and flipping, the rehabbers were hot. But in today's market, the people who are buying, the houses are so cheap right now. These are the people who buy and they hold on to it for 5, 7 years until the market turns around, and that's when they sell it. And you know, and so our #1 best buyers in today's market are landlord buyers. And like I said, they're in the business of buying the properties, fix it up, rent it out. They make their cash flow, and you know they make their monthly cash flow, and then they're going to sell it later on. If some of them will decide to sell it, some might not ever decide to sell it and just hold on to it forever. But these are the best buyers for us in today's market.
Absolutely. And right inside in Tim's system, you can just click a button and find landlords anywhere. We'll show you that a little further on in the training. You have rehabbers, people who are buying, fixing, and selling retail. Okay, those are the people that want to buy your property for $30,000, put a little bit of work into it, maybe put $10,000 into it, and sell it for $60,000. Okay, rehabbers are a great source. Landlords and rehabbers are great. You know why I love them so much? Because they're repeat buyers. You know, literally, you get hooked up with 1 or 2 landlords, a few rehabbers that are active. You're going to be able to sell all your deals, or you know, as long as they're good deals and you have the right repeat buyers. And landlords and rehabbers are where it's at. So we have cash, private money, and hard money. Tim, why don't you take that one?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, there are different ways that these people pay for these money for these deals, and they could use their own cash to do it, or they have access to private lenders, which is private lenders are normal individuals that loan money. So like, let's say if you go to your mom and borrow money from your mom, she's your private lender, and that's private money, right? Or if you go to your rich Uncle Bob, and your Uncle Bob would be your private lender, and that's private money. And there's also another type of money that buyers use. Is called hard money lenders. And hard money lenders are sort of like mortgage broker for private lenders. So let's say you don't have a rich Uncle Bob, but let's say Ross is a hard money lender and he has a rich Uncle Bob. So you go to Ross and say, hey Ross, will you lend me this money? And Ross says, yes, I'll lend it to you at you're gonna pay me 5 points and 15% interest rate, and then Ross turned around and borrowed money from his uncle at 10% interest rate, and so he makes, he keeps the spread as his profit. So now he's a hard money lender, and when you borrow money from hard money lenders, it's called hard money, and so it costs you more money than private money because you're going through a middleman, you're going through a broker, and not directly to private lenders. Now, in this training, on the third week, we're going to teach you about private lenders, how to find private lenders, how to work with private lenders, and not necessarily for when you need for your deals, but it's extremely helpful for you to have that readily available for your buyers. See, you want to make it as easy as you can for your buyers to buy from you.
Oh
so when they come to you, they get the property and they get the financing already in place, and they can just buy it from you. And that's how you beat out all of your competitors out there.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Tim. I just want to highlight what you just said there. Guys, in Module 3, we're going to show you how to find your private money lenders. And again, like Tim said, I just have to reiterate that. Not only for yourself, but for your buyers. This way, if someone wants a deal, there's no excuse. Oh, I want the deal, I just can't get the money. Here's the money. The deal's done.
Right.
That's beautiful. So guys, even if you have money to do your own deals, you should always be building those relationships with those money individuals, with those hard money individuals, because you're going to need them for a lot of different reasons. Okay? Beautiful. I'm real excited. Okay, great. That takes us through kind of like the introduction of what we have going on here. So I'm going to close out part 1. You guys are all pumped, and we're going to jump into part 2, which is how to find landlords and cash buyers offline. Okay? There are going to be a lot of different ways to find cash buyers online. We're going to go through a few offline ones and then a few online ones. And the reason that we're bringing up offline first is because the thing I like about offline is it forces relationships. And not forces relationships, that's not a good word. It encourages real relationships with people. And a lot of times people have difficulties building real relationships online. And once you're belly to belly to someone, once you shake their hand, once you look in their eyes, once you chat with them a little bit, you can kind of size them up and figure out if this is someone that you're going to be able to build a long-term relationship with. Tim, what do you think about relationships in real estate?
Oh man, it's extremely, extremely important. You know, a lot of people think that you need a lot of buyers in real estate to make money, and that is totally untrue. If you talk to any seasoned investors and ask them, hey, how many VIP buyers do you have? These are the buyers that buy from you over and over again. How many VIP buyers do you have? I don't care how successful they are, they'll tell you they only have a handful of VIP buyers. Okay, and so it's extremely important that you build relationship with these people, because you're gonna do business with them for many years to come. You know, many deals to come. So very, very important.
Yeah, beautiful. So I'm just starting to pull up some different resources here. But we're going to talk about a few ways to find landlords and cash buyers, and also make sure to build, you know, your local mastermind, meaning people that you can actually call up and talk to on the phone about deals. You can kind of get a real temperature of what's going on in the market. We have a RIA club, and for anyone that doesn't know what RIA means, it means Real Estate Investment Association. And those are going to be, well, you know what? For me, it was pivotal to my success. Without my local RIA, which I wound up sitting on the board on after a few years of going there, I would have never met the first person I worked with. I would have never done my first couple deals. I would have never had all of the cool things that I've attracted, you know, into my life had I not went to my RIA, because it was all the real estate investors in town that were doing deals. And what I learned about the RIA through going there and actually being an organizer is you can kind of tell the new people who come in who are going to make it, okay? Because you don't have to be, being shy is okay. I'm a very shy person. but you have to be inquisitive. You know, just because if you're shy, you can be inquisitive. And while I was sitting on the board at the RIA, the people who would come into the RIA and would ask me, hey, who's doing the most deals in here? Who are the real buyers? I knew that they were there for a reason. And point out the 2 or 3 people in the room there was about 40 people out of the 40 people that were in there that were doing the most deals, and they would kind of beamline over there and just really pick their brain. Tim, what do you think when someone new is attending their RIA, what do you think is important about going to your RIA?
Well, you know, the number one is that you are surrounded by other people who are like you, who are interested in investing in real estate, or who have been doing real estate investing. So you'll be able to pick their brain, network with them, you know, get referrals from them, and a lot of time they have a lot of training as well that they do at the RIA groups, and so you get to learn as well. And so I mean, it's a great place to go and learn and meet other people that are in the same business that you are in, and cooperate with them and make money together. I'll give you an example. Let's say you go to a RIA today, and somebody has a wholesale deal that they're trying to sell, and they're like, hey, and then you come up to them and you talk to them and like, hey, if you want to help me sell this deal, I'll split the profit with you. So like instantly you have a deal to sell today, right? And this is a very common thing, by the way, that you're going to find when you go to RIA. Or you might have somebody there that you meet that is a private lender, you know, that they'll lend money for real estate, so now you can have your private lenders. Or perhaps somebody's looking for deals, like, hey, I'm looking for a rental property. Anybody has a good deal? I'm interested in buying it this month. And so yeah, so RIA clubs are very, very extremely helpful and useful for your business.
Absolutely. So let's make sure everyone can find their local RIA. I have a few ideas, and Tim has a few ideas. You can always just go to this new website called Google. You can always just go to Google and just type in RIA Wilmington and see that's where I'm from. You can type in RIA. Let me just see. I used to be from Iceland, New York. Let's see here. Just do a little search, and you can find different RIA meetings that way. And there's also nationalria.com. Okay, and you can literally just hit Find a RIA and just do a search for your local real estate investment association. Okay, site's taking a second to pull up. But you'll see right here across the top, I'm just going to highlight this. If you have not been to your RIA, go to your RIA, and things will start kind of clicking for you in your head. Okay, so you can go to National RIA right here. Now there's a new there's a new movement I've seen in the meeting up of individuals that are interested in similar topics. And if you guys haven't seen this yet, it's called meetup.com. Okay. And meetup.com, this is, you know, a lot of the stuff we're going to talk about, you know, you can apply to your personal life or your professional life, but anything you're interested in, you can just type in real estate investing, Wilmington, North Carolina, that's where I'm from. Hit a little search, and there's all sorts of, this is about 20 minutes outside of my town. Tim, what are you in Sugar, what is it called?
Houston, search Houston.
Okay. Sorry, here, let me close that out. All right. Do a little search. Okay, all sorts of meetings out here. And you can literally just click on any of these, okay, and it will show you exactly when they're holding their meetups. And don't discount the ones with only a small amount of people on there, but obviously the big ones are going to have more people there. Small ones might be a little more intimate. but this is a great place for you to network and mastermind with other like-minded individuals. Okay? And you know what? I'm going to throw out a little tip here, because if you can't find a meetup group, if you're looking for a really active person in your town, you want to start networking right now, you can't wait for a meeting, I like to Google Homevestors. Let me just make sure here this pops up. Homevestors is just a group of investors, and it's not to become part of Homevestors. So you can find different these are typically very, very active investors. I believe if you're not doing deals, you can't be a Homevestor. And you can literally just see who in your town is a Homevestor representative, and that's a good person to contact. And their phone number is usually right on the page. You can call them up and start chatting with them and ask them where they go to network, who they network with.
Right.
Okay? All right. So, all right. So now, Tim, whenever you're going to these different groups, what should be your main objective whenever you're meeting people?
Well, when I'm meeting with people, I want to make sure I have my business cards there, and my main objective is to let people know that I have deals available. If I do have deals available, giving them my flyer, and let them know what I do basically and what I'm looking for.
What if you don't do anything? If it's your first time there and you're just exploring.
Right. Well, if your first time there just exploring, then that's fine. Find out who are doing deals. Your main objective is find out who are doing deals, find out who are doing private lending, and go find the group leaders. Okay, find the group leaders in those groups and ask them, hey, who in this group is seasoned and who's in this group is active in doing deals, and then get to know them. Ask them if you can take them out for lunch, to pick their brain more and to network with them. But find out who the players are and start to get active in building relationship with them.
Awesome. And then I wanted to show you guys one other feature here to find some active investors. Right inside Connected Investors, you can just do a little search for investors, okay? And you'll see just while this page is popping up, you'll see this apartments wanted, cash buyer. Sounds like he's using our technique. Okay, awesome. And you'll see just right in Houston, here's a bunch of different investors. Here's Tim. There we go. Tim is doing deals out there. And you can literally just punch in your zip code. I'm going to type in 90210. And look at this. You can look for rehab investors, people who want to fix up and flip properties, okay? Just do a little search. People will pop right up, and you can start networking with them, okay? Super important. Here you go. Here's 90210 out there in California. You can see that these people are building up their buyers lists. So guys, I just wanted to show you right inside of Connected Investors, underneath your search, boom, okay? Search for investors. You can find other investors to do deals with. And when you go to those RIAs, make sure to get everyone's contact info. And what we've done for you is, if you didn't get it in an email, we actually have a resource that Tim put together right here, checklist to use when talking to other investors. And he gives you a breakdown of exactly what to say to everyone, okay? Just kind of feeling out everyone, all right? We'll go over this in a little while, but this is going to be a fantastic sheet filled out on the more active investors. This way you can make sure you meet their needs, which is super important. Okay.
Right.
All righty. Well, let's keep this ball rolling here. We have part 3. Okay. Part 3, how to find landlord and cash buyers on and offline. Okay. Let's go ahead and see. I'm going to jump into Do Deals here. And dodeals.com/not $1, okay, /$1. And let's go ahead and see what we can do inside inside Due Deals. I'm pretty excited about this. Okay. So here we are inside duedeals.com. Okay. And right here we have different leads. And Tim, why don't you, do you want to kind of take me through this a little bit, or let me just?
Well, yeah, I'm just gonna, no, I mean for today, because the other days we'll talk about the other leads, but for today we're just gonna talk about the landlord leads. Like I said, folks, you know, in today's market, landlords are our biggest buyers in today's market. Okay, and how do you find landlords? Well, you know that the easiest way to find a landlord is someone who will have a house that they're trying to rent. Okay, and so what you want to do is when you know, if you're doing this offline, you would be looking in your newspapers for houses for rent. Or if you're looking for online using like Due Deals tool here, you want to find houses for rent. And if someone has a house for rent, chances are they are a landlord. And so you want to contact them either via email or via the phone and ask them, hey, I noticed you have a house for rent. Are you interested in buying more rental property, or are you interested in buying more cash flow properties? I have a, you know, if you have a property, then you can tell them I have a property that I desperately need to sell. If you're interested, I'll send you the property information. And so, you know, so then you know, and then if they say yes, they're interested, you send them the information. Now, if you don't have any property yet, then just say that to my associates and I come across properties all the time. And so if I know you what kind of property you're looking for, I'll make sure you get on my VIP buyers list to be, you know, for me to contact first when I have a property available this week or next week, you know. And so yes, landlords are great buyers, and the easiest place for you to find them is just log into your Due Deals account.
This is awesome, man. I mean, I'm so tempted to go into all these other leads, but I'm gonna wait. But
right.
Guys, you get all sorts of leads in here. But landlord buyers, boom, you can come right in. Okay, you saw right inside connected investors. You can search for buy and hold type investors. Right here, you can search for landlords, which are buy and hold type investors. It's all like right here, and there's a lot of them in here. I mean, Wilmington, North Carolina is small, and there are just tons of repeat landlords. Whenever you hear the word landlord, just think repeat buyer. Wow, awesome.
Right.
Okay. So there's a few different ways to do things. If you want the one-click way, you can just jump in there. Landlord and buyer tab. You saw that. We also have some websites. I'm going to let you write these down as well. GoSection8.com, RiaRentals.com, and ShowMeTheRent.com. These are all right inside. Excuse me. These are all websites where you can find landlords. Not quite as easy as Due Deals, but you can spend some time sifting through that if you'd like.
Right. I'm just giving you more options, basically.
Yeah, a lot of options out there. And connected investors, we already talked about that. Emailing landlords. Okay. I know a lot of you guys were like, hey, Tim, what are you saying? What do I email these landlords? So here you go. I'm going to just let you guys take some time if you want to copy this down. And you'll see, Tim, why do you say desperately need to sell? That sounds kind of weird.
Well, think about it. You know, when you hear the word desperate, what do you think about, right? Especially when you hear about a seller who's desperate to sell their house. You think that, hey, it might be a really good deal, right? They just want to get their cash and they want to run, right? And so that word desperate draws up that emotions in us. It's like, man, there might be a good deal in here. And so we want our buyers to feel that way toward our deals. And so we want to, and you are desperate to sell, aren't you? Because, you know, once you have a deal, you want to make money as soon as possible. And so you are desperate to sell. Now keep in mind, some of you guys, you might not have any properties yet. And if you don't have any property, you can say, my associates and I get deals all the time. And so, you know, if I know your buying criteria, I can put you on my VIP buyers list, and I'll email you. I'll contact you I'll contact you next week, or I'll contact you as soon as I have a deal that meets your buying criteria. And so, yeah.
So this is very important, guys. If you are consistent about if you go through the due deals landlords, call this email, okay? Or you have you have someone else do it for you. You're going to get a lot of people that are going to respond, and those are people who are looking for deals.
Right.
You never know who you're going to stumble across, because guess what? I was going through due deals the other day in Wilmington, North Carolina, and I saw one of my properties up there. Now, if you're in Wilmington, North Carolina, I do a lot of deals. You would have stumbled across me. You would have sent this to me. And I would have been like, yeah, what do you got? And then the conversation would have started. The relationship building can start, and maybe I'd buy a deal from you. Maybe I'd buy 100 deals from you. Okay?
Right.
So this is important, guys. This is super, super important. Okay? I hope you've had enough time to copy that down. If not, you obviously don't care enough. I'm just kidding. Okay. So part 3, we went through a few different ways to find buyers, a couple different options. All right. Let's close this up. We are moving right along here, Tim. Awesome. All right, part 4, calling landlords. All right. So, Tim, why don't we talk a little bit about calling the landlords? I know, are you calling people directly? Are you asking them to respond to you? Or what are you talking about here? And while Tim is answering that, I'm going to show you where you can download that questionnaire one more time.
Right. And so, we show you earlier on where you can find houses for rent, right? And most landlords who post their houses for rent, they will either have a phone number for you to call, or they'll have an email address for you to email, some way to contact them. And because these landlords are, and it has to do with your personality type too. If you are comfortable with calling over the phone, I highly suggest for you to call them. Remember, these are people that you're going to build a relationship with to sell them houses day after day after day after day for years to come, right? Maybe not day after day, but month after month for years to come. And and so just call them, just like how you would call Ross up or call me up or I call Ross up. Build that relationship. And like I said, if you're not comfortable with calling yet, that's okay too. You can just email them. But I personally, because I know that these are people that's going to buy from me for a long time, I just call them up and build a relationship with them.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Absolutely. Some people want to call. Some people don't want to call. Okay. And whenever you call, Tim, let's talk a little bit about this questionnaire and why it is important. I'm pulling it up on the screen. Okay, you should be able to see it. Let's just take a look here. Control. All right. So we have, you're calling someone up. Okay. So Tim, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pretend like I'm calling you up. All right. And I have this questionnaire. You ready?
Right.
Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing? This is Ross Hamilton. I saw you had a property you were renting.
Yes.
Okay, guys, the reason I'm opening up with that is because now they want to talk to me.
Right.
They want to go ahead and sell that property. Okay, let's get back to the conversation. What I'm going to do is exactly what you're going to do. You're just going to jump over to your script, and let's look at this script. Okay. I notice you have a house for rent. Are you interested in more cash flowing properties?
Well, it depends. It depends on what kind of deal you have.
Well, yeah, my associates and I, we get deals all the time, and we have one right now we're desperately trying to sell. If you're interested, I can send you all of the details.
Okay.
All right. Now, guys, this is me just stumbling along here. You don't have to be perfect, okay? Well, before I send you the details on this property, I don't want to waste any of your time. And let me go into the buyer questionnaire, okay? So right here, guys, while you're talking to someone, you have this questionnaire up, and I might go into, well, I see you have a single-family house for sale, but are you interested in multifamily homes or commercial properties?
No, I'm only interested in single-family homes.
Okay. How many properties do you usually buy a year?
I normally buy a couple a year.
All right. Well, we already know, guys, we already know that this is a buy and hold type investor. But we might say, do you usually rent most of your properties, or do you flip a few as well?
Yeah, I normally rent most of mine. I mean, once in a while we'll sell something retail to get some cash flow, but most of the time we buy and hold.
Okay. How many years have you been a real estate investor?
I've been in real estate investor for 5 years now.
That's great. That's great. Now, guys, you can see, you can just literally stumble through this form. Okay, I've had these exact conversations with a lot of different people, and it's okay. I don't want you to worry about having to be perfect. If you wait too long to call, you're never going to do deals. All right? Now, Tim, before I get into this, in your form you have some financial information. Is this something you just go right into?
Well, it depends on where the conversation is. Now, just keep in mind that this form is created in a way where the more information you can get from the people, the better. But you don't have to get every single information from them. It's just that the more someone's willing to give you the information, the easier it is for you to work with them because you know what their criteria is. And so just get a feel for it. If in the beginning you're first making phone calls and you're not comfortable with asking so many questions, then it's okay that you don't ask so many questions. In my case, for example, where I tell these people, look, you're going to get on my VIP buyers list, and this is the reason why I have to know as much information about you as possible, because whenever I have a deal, they go fast. I sell my deals within hours. And so if I know exactly what you want, I call you, and the deal meets your criteria, we can move forward with a contract and get ready to close. Because if you wait, the property is going to be sold. And so I need to get these information to put you on my VIP buyers list.
Yes, fine. Here's my bank account number. Here's my social security number. Please let me know. Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. So guys, to get this, to get the questionnaire, okay, right inside the education tab, inside Connected Investor, you can literally just click and download the tab. Okay,
Right.
get a little picture of education icon right here. Okay, you can just click there, download it, and you are good to go.
Right.
All right.
And I wanna remind you guys again. It's a lot more important for you guys to take action and do something than trying to do everything. So same thing with calling. You know, Ross and I are not gonna beat you up because you didn't fill out the form completely. Ross and I will beat you up if you didn't call anybody to ask them any questions at all, okay?
If you freeze up, just pretend like you want to rent the property.
Right, you can even do that.
It's okay, but you know, a lot of people need that little bit of a push. And look how many landlords you have here. You can mess up on 100 people and still have 100 more to call.
Actually, still have 900 more to call.
Yeah, exactly. So have fun, please. Have fun sounding like an idiot and messing up a little bit. Okay? There's no reason to worry.
You know, just look at this as nothing more than a practice. You're just practicing. And so what's the worst they can do to you? Jump across the phone and bite you? No. The worst case is they hang their phone up on you. Well, that's fine. They're going to hang up the phone sooner or later, right? Whether you're going to talk to them for an hour and they hang up the phone, or you talk to them for 30 seconds and they hang up the phone. It's just a matter of time. That's okay. All right? And so...
Now, Tim, hold on. That's the worst case scenario is they hang up. What's the best case scenario?
The best case scenario is, yes, I'm interested in the deal. As a matter of fact, you know, I have $100,000 cash right now that I'm trying to do a 1031 exchange for, and I really, really, really need a house in the next 2 weeks.
And you sell them a deal, and you put $15,000 in your pocket. So worst case is a hang up. Would you let someone hang the phone up on you for $15,000 if that's the worst case? Okay. So just a lot of people are scared to get on the phone. Just get on the phone, get inside, do deals, call some people, have some fun, and you know, just laugh at you. Just laugh at yourself. Tim laughs at himself all the time. All
Right.
Great. So we are rolling right through here on how to find some different buyers. All right, part 5. Okay. An MLS search. I'm going to open up this tab right here. All right. This is a very fun way to find cash buyers right now. Okay? And there's a lot of different ways you can do this. Now, if you have any connections with any real estate agents, this is something you can get done in 7 seconds. Okay? Tim, I was watching you show, whenever you showed me how to do this, it was so awesome. Why don't you explain it to everyone on the line here?
Yeah, so here's what's going on in today's market. You know, a lot of the MLS has a lot of bank-owned properties. And so there's a lot of cash buyers out there. They have a full-time job, and so they're not out there looking for the properties themselves. So they go through a real estate agent, and the real estate agent are finding them properties for them. And so even though that's whenever you're buying from the MLS, generally speaking, these people are paying a little bit higher than if they were to buy directly from a wholesaler or directly from a homeowner. And and so the cash buyers that buy from the MLS are very, very good buyers for us. Number one, we know that they're already proven buyers because they have bought a property for cash or with cash. And we know that they are willing to pay, pretty good price, pretty high price for a property. And so, so what we do is we contact either you have MLS access or find a realtor, an investor-friendly realtor from your local RIA group or from your connected investor account. I'm sure there's realtors in there as well. Find an investor-friendly realtor to help you do this. And all they have to do is they log into the MLS and they do what's called a custom search. They're going to search for all of the properties, the single-family homes that were sold, that the term of sold is cash in the last 6 months. If you're in a market area where you're not getting a lot of return for the last 6 months, then you can tell them to do it for the entire year as well. Like here in Houston, there's so many cash buyers that 6 months is plenty enough for me to work with. I don't have to go to a year. So depending on your market, and so your realtor is going to give you a list of all of the properties that were sold, and what you're going to do is you're going to do a reverse search on your county appraisal district to find out who the owner of the property is, who the new owner is, which is your new buyer. And then from there, you can send them a letter you can send them a letter, or you can go to whitepages.com and look for their phone number and call them.
So basically, they're doing a search for homes that were sold all cash.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Then after you that list, you said you literally just go to whitepages.com and just look people up.
Yep, that's it. Just that simple. Yeah, you can look them up at whitepages.com, or you can send them a letter. What we do, and sending them letters is extremely effective. It costs a little bit of money and a little bit of time, but man, it works really well. So here's what we do with our letters. Whenever we have a property, what we do is we find out who are the cash buyers that buy in that zip code, or the nearby zip codes, like within a mile radius of the property. And then we will send out about 20 letters. They look like handwritten letters, but what we do is we will handwrite the initial letter on a white sheet of printing paper. And then what we do is we take the yellow notebook papers that we buy from like Office Depot or Office Max or Staples. We tear out those sheets from the yellow letters, and then we put it through our copying machine. And so now our handwritten paper on the white paper now gets into the yellow letter, and it looks like we handwritten all of these yellow letters that we send to these people. So very personalized.
Yeah.
And then we also attach a flyer of the property that we're trying to sell to them as well. And
beautiful. So
yeah, and when you
guys.
yeah, when you do this, I guarantee you're gonna find at least one cash buyer from your for your property, and then there's more gonna call you that's gonna get added to your buyers list for next time.
Okay, so guys, if you take nothing else from this training here, next time you have a property under contract, or you own a property that you're trying to sell for wholesale, remember you're buying low, selling low. You can literally just go to the MLS, do a search for all homes that were sold cash, 6 months to a year, depending on how rural your area is. You can send them all postcards with a picture of your house on it. Okay? Now it's going to all the cash buyers in your neighborhood.
Right.
But you can be proactive about that as well.
Right. And Ross can tell you this. Any experienced investor can tell you this, that if I have a property in a certain area, and that a rental property in a certain area, and someone offer me another rental property in that same area, there's a very high chance that I will buy it. It's because the more properties I have in the same area, the less work there is for me. You know, less management for my property management company and everything.
Yeah.
And so I'm always looking for other rental properties in the same area that I have my rental property in. And so what you're doing here is very targeted, you know, to find a buyer. And because of that, it's a little bit more work. It costs a little bit of money because what stamps is, I don't know how much nowadays, 50 cents or something like that. It's a little bit more work, but because it's a little bit more work, you don't have any competition at all. I don't know of any other investor doing this or teaching this. And so you barely have any competition, and because of that, you know, your chance of finding a cash buyer for your deal is extremely high.
Absolutely. I mean, I would never, ever, ever in my life, if I was going to wholesale property, I don't care how much it costs. Okay? Realistically, I mean, if you're good at connecting dots, you can see here that just kind of through what we've taught you, and everyone's going to find their own path to riches. But it seems like you can do nothing else but go to your RIA, find people who have wholesale properties at your RIA, or right inside Connected Investors, or jump into Do Deals. I might spoil this, I might show them a few deals inside Do Deals, but either way, find properties, get them under contract, which we're going to show you how to do. Do nothing more than send out 20 postcards to people in the neighborhood who bought properties for cash. If you don't get any response, send them another letter. If you don't get any response, move on to the next deal. You know, I mean, it's Tim. I mean, would that strategy work?
Yes.
Because you have no money invested. Maybe you get a property tied up for 30 days. If someone calls up and they want the house, boom, you sell it, you move it, you sell the paper, you move on to the next deal. Could you do that once you understood that process? Could you do that in only working 4 hours a week? That's a rhetorical question, guys. Realistically, guys, you can set up some really good money even while you're working a full-time job. You can use the information that Tim and I are showing you on a part-time basis and work your way out of your full-time job, or work your way out of you know, financial debt or into financial prosperity. So awesome.
And today's market, I mean, it's just, I can't even begin to talk about how much opportunities there are out there today. Tons. You know, even, I mean, here in if you ever worked the oil market, you would know that it's a very competitive market. You know why? It's because people are buying houses up like crazy. That's why the oil market is very competitive. And so the opportunity is huge out there right now. There's so many cash buyers, and they know real estate is not going to go down anymore. It's already gone down, like, I mean,
40% plus.
Yeah, it's gone down so much already. You know, so now it's like the best time to buy. And your buyers know that. If you watch the news been telling them that now is the time to buy. Now is the time to get in. And so the investor who've been holding it out, half the cash, they're buying. They're buying like crazy.
Yeah. There's plenty of money out there. People are just waiting a second. And they were waiting for right now. There's more money in bank accounts now than there's almost ever been. And it's because people are just holding it. They didn't want to put it in the stock market. They're waiting for real estate to do its thing. Now they're ready to come out and start striking and building basically a future for their kids.
Right. Yeah. And so
awesome.
Yeah, so they're out there buying. Okay. You have you have hungry fish out there wanting some food. All you have to do is throw your bait down and they'll bite it. And so go start fishing.
Let's keep on keeping on here. MLS search bandit signs. Let's take a look at this. All right. Now we see, guys, you can get bandit signs printed, or you can go to Office Max and Staples and buy some signs and nail some stakes to it. I've done it all. Okay. We have right here handyman specials, cheap cash. Fixer-upper homes, cheap cash. Now, even if you don't have any properties, is it okay to plan ahead and start building lists of people who want cheap deals?
Of course.
Isn't that 7 Habits of Highly Effective People? Now, these bandit signs are important, okay? And as far as your phone number, you can have your phone number on the sign and your website address on the sign. If you guys don't have a phone number yet, I mean, Google is absolutely amazing. You can get a Google Voice number set up in 7 seconds. A lot of people don't know this. I'll show you how to do this in a second here. But Tim, why don't you tell them about these signs? Because you had some really innovative techniques on what to do with these.
Right. And so, signs is one of the best marketing tool out there. And some people are not comfortable with putting out signs because they believe that, or in many city ordinances, putting out signs without a permit is illegal, and they might fine you for it. And that is true for a lot of cities. But however, that is untrue for all of the cities. I'll give you an example. Here in Houston, there's this city called Katy, which is a suburb of Houston. And when you're in the city of Houston, yes, there's a sign ordinance, but if you put out signs in Katy, there's no sign ordinance, so the sign stayed up. But what I'm going to teach you is a strategy on how you can put out signs that's completely legal, and the city will never even pick it up. And see, when you put signs on public places, then that's when the city get on your butt about it. But if you put signs on private places, then it's totally legal. And so if you have an area that you farm in, or if it's a neighborhood that you have a property that you're trying to sell, I want you to drive that neighborhood and find all of the vacant houses in that neighborhood. And I want you to put a sign on those vacant houses. So you see, vacant houses are private properties, and so the city will never even bother you about it. As a matter of fact, they won't ever even see it. Okay? And so everybody, all of the buyers, when buyers buy houses, they drive the neighborhood. If I have a house for rent, I might be driving that neighborhood. If I'm fixing up a house in that neighborhood, I'm driving that neighborhood. Okay? And I'm in and out of that neighborhood. Or my contractors are in and out of that neighborhood. And so when you put out signs on all of these vacant houses, and I'm driving through that neighborhood, I'll be like, man, whoever that is, they must have a lot of houses in this neighborhood. They must dominate this neighborhood. They must be a big player in this neighborhood. Well, let me call them to see, to buy a house from them. And so now you have all of the buyers calling you and not anyone else to find properties from you. Right? So that's a really effective way to find buyers for that neighborhood. And if I'm driving that neighborhood and I'm calling you off your sign, I'm buying specifically in your neighborhood. I'm a really hot buyer lead for you. And then here is the side effect of this whole thing and how you can even get deals from it. Oh, I forgot to tell you. If the buyer calls you and you don't have that property in the contract, you just tell them, well, that property is not available yet, but I do have another property down the street that I can show you right now that is available. Okay, so you just direct them to a house that you do have. And if you don't have any house at all, you just say, that property is not available yet, but let me get your contact information. As soon as it becomes available, I'll call you up. All right, so now you get all of their contact information. You fill out your questionnaire form. Now here's the side effect I was talking about. 90% of the time, the homeowner who owns those vacant houses are not going to see your sign and not going to know anything about it because the house is vacant. They're not there. They've moved out of town, out of state, wherever the case might be. There's 10% of the time that they still coming back there to check their mail, or they tell the neighbors to contact them if anything happened to their house. And so the neighbor contact the homeowner and let them know that you have put out a sign on their property. And so they're going to call you up and said, what are you doing putting your sign on my yard? And when they do that, I want you to get really excited, okay? Because this is where the money is. You're going to tell them, Mr. Seller, Mrs. Seller, I'm so glad you called me. I've been trying to get a hold of you. I'm a cash buyer, and I'm interested in buying your house. If I can pay you all cash and close quickly, what's the least you're willing to accept? Okay? And so you turning, a homeowner who has, who's disappeared, nobody knows where they are at, can't find them to buy their house, and they're calling you to buy, calling you, and you have the opportunity to buy the house from them. So, and I'll tell you this, vacant houses was how I made my first $1 million in real estate.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
beautiful.
When I first started out the business, that was vacant houses was all that I focused in on, and I made a lot of money on vacant houses.
So I just drew a little picture here, Tim. Pretty cute, huh? So imagine if you're driving down a road and you look out your window to the left and you see 3 vacant houses with this sign in the front. Right in a row. Your houses aren't going to be in a row. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. But if you drive through this neighborhood and you see these signs in everyone's yard, you're going to be like, man, this guy is controlling the town, just like Tim said. Okay, so that's a great way to get a lot of buyers to call you. And then Tim told you that every now and then the homeowner will call you, but you already had a buyer call about the house. You got their number. If you set up a Google Voice number, then all their information will be stored for you in your Google Voice account. And now you already had a buyer call, and now you had a possible seller call. You put the deal together. You put that $1,000 to $15,000 in your pocket, like we talked about at the beginning. That's right. A very, very awesome, easy technique. It's the simple stuff that works for generations. Okay, everyone gets so lost in gizmos and gadgets world, they forget about just actually getting off their couch and doing something, driving around a neighborhood they're interested in, and putting up 20 signs, and before they know it, they're going to have all the buyers they can handle, and maybe even a few leads.
Correct.
Okay, just do it. Okay, I wish Nike didn't have that copyrighted, or that would be my slogan here. Okay, just do it. Okay, take something you like here and just do it because it works. It made Tim $1 million freaking dollars. That is awesome.
Yeah, and notice we are teaching you a lot of different ways. We are, our purpose here, our goal here is to arm you with as many tools as we can, so that way you have more chances to profit from this. Now, do you have to go day one today to implement all of these? No, you don't. You pick and choose which one you want to implement first, and you plan on which one you want to implement second and third. All right? What's more important is that you get into action. I guarantee you, once you get into action, that momentum kicks in, and deals start to come, buyers start to come, and next thing you know, you'll be cashing your checks every single month, if not every single week. All right? And that's just the way it works.
Okay, look, hey, actually, Tim, remember at the very beginning we showed you how to use, how to get this mind mapping system. If you like one idea, you can do this, then do that, then do that, and you can actually just flow out exactly what you're going to do.
Right.
But please, that'd probably be a really good, I'm going to add that to the, maybe we should add that to the action item here, because flow out what you are going to do. That one technique we just showed you is what made Tim $1 million. Okay, so just flow it out and just do it, guys. Okay, so let's go ahead and scroll on down here, because, guys, just like you can do bandit signs, you can also do online ads. Okay, online ads, fixer-uppers for sale, deep discount. Let's take a look at this. Got cash. Go ahead and write this down. Got cash. We have deep discounted properties for sale. Visit our website at www.yourwebsitename.com. And remember, Connected Investors gives you a website. Okay, there's a lot of different ways you can get online and get automated, or call, and then your phone number. Again, I strongly advocate setting up a Google Voice number or having some sort of an automated phone system, because, Tim, have you ever seen a case when a real estate investor first gets into real estate, follows your techniques, right? Isn't really sure how it's going to work, plasters their personal cell phone number all over everywhere, and then they are just like getting lit up all day, every day, with people calling about deals, buyers calling, sellers calling, Right. Plan for success. It's going to happen.
Right.
And you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose out on a lot of deals if you're not able to answer all the, if you're not able to follow up, if you don't have their information organized and stored somewhere. Because the beautiful thing about real estate is you don't necessarily have to answer the phone right when someone calls. You just have to be able to follow back up with them. You can do it on your terms. You can set an hour each day aside just to follow up on your real estate deals, or 2 hours every other day, or whatever works around your lifestyle. You can design the ideal lifestyle through real estate because it allows a lot of flexibility. You can do this, on a beach. You can do this on vacation. You can do this while you're snowboarding, while you're, you can do this anywhere. It's really a business that can be done anywhere. And real estate's made more millionaires than any other business in the world. And now with technology the way it is, you don't even have to be in the same town as your real estate, especially if you're wholesaling. So this is an ad that you can post on all sorts of different websites. We have cheap wholesale deals for you. And, I always like to, like Tim said earlier, I believe he said, always have it say deals, okay? We have cheap wholesale deals for you. Because if you don't have a property under contract, you can't advertise that you own a property if you don't own a property, okay? So, Tim, isn't it better just to have everything be plural?
Correct, yeah. So that way nobody can say that you're advertising a specific property. Yeah,
it's just one little tidbit of advice that probably would never, ever, ever bother. It would never come back to bite you. I don't think it's ever hit anyone I've ever known. But, because you guys have our experience to pull off of, just throw an S at the end of deal, and you're way above board. Now there is just a list of different sites down here that you can go ahead and post these ads on. So this is something you can literally do right when you get off the line. Maybe that's in your flow chart. Maybe that's what you want to do. You want to post these on Craigslist, on Backpage, Connected Investors, in the socialized page. You can do all that. So
right.
It's gonna create a lot of leads for you.
Right, and the ads that we're giving you here are just generic template ads for you to go based on. Add your own spin to it, add your own flavor to it, because we don't want all of you guys to go out there and post the exact same ad, because Craigslist is gonna think that you're just spamming them. So tweak this to add in your information on there. And if you have a specific property that you are trying to sell, then put the specific property in.
Oh yeah, totally. Good point.
You don't have to do a generic ad like this. And so, so just keep that in mind.
Tim, man, we have. In the beginning of the call, we started talking about golden nuggets of information and how we were going to teach until we're blue in the face and how they have to apply. And man, oh man, I'm so excited. I was just looking at all the stuff we went over, and I'm so excited to have all you guys on the line, because what happens, with Tim and I and yourself is after you've been in real estate and you start doing a lot of deals, you make a lot of money, you make your first $1 million, you design the ideal lifestyle that you've always wanted, you just want to give back. You're like, oh my God, I was so lucky. I took action. Maybe we weren't lucky. Maybe we were just action takers. I took action and I did it, and I'm exactly where I want to be. Now let me show other people how to do it, and I'm so excited about all the information that we just shared with you guys, especially because you got on this call for free. But like Tim said, pretend like you spent $1,000, because if you spent $1,000, you'd take action. Okay, because you got on this call at no cost, don't discredit any of this information. This is the very same stuff that gets wrapped up in $1,000, $2,000 real estate courses. Okay.
Right. Yeah, I don't know if you guys realize how lucky you are to have this opportunity for Ross and I to take out our valuable time to teach you you guys this information. I mean, the stuff that we're teaching you to here, and you saw it by now, right? Are really hardcore things that we're doing in our real estate business that's working for us right now in today's market. And we're not hiding anything back from you. This is a huge opportunity for you guys, and so make sure you take advantage of it. Okay, make sure you take advantage of it. Don't go out there, learn this thing, and not take action on it. So make sure you take advantage of it. Hey, here I'm going to show you something real quick here, Ross. On the right side, you see your market area is showing Portland. You want to edit the DMA and select your Wilmington area.
Okay. All right, guys. So where I am right now is I'm in Do Deals. Remember, we gave you a special link to be able to get in and do exactly. You can do exactly what I'm doing for $1. Okay, it's dodeals.com/$1, and I'll bring that back up again in a second here. But let's just, wow, Wilmington, North Carolina. Okay, submit. I'm literally just looking for some different leads in here. Let me see here. Let the page refresh. Okay. So we have.
Yeah, and I'll talk about all the leads on the next training.
Tim,
how.
What about? I just wanted to make sure people understood what they can do with this just a little bit, because some people might miss the next training, and they're on this training now. So if you just want to show just some highlights, because this is really, really awesome how you can search for motivated sellers, wholesale deals, landlord buyers, internet leads, foreclosures, REOs.
Yeah, the tools that we're providing you with Due Deals and Connected Investors, it's the ultimate tool for your real estate business. All the leads for the deals, the sellers, all the leads for the buyers is all here for you. Okay, and so it's extremely important that you sign up for your Due Deals account, you sign up for your Connected Investor account, so you can take full advantage of not only the training that we're doing for you here, but also full advantage of all of the leads for you, so that way you can convert these leads into deals.
Okay, this is really this is really something right here. Right inside Due Deals, you can literally find deals right now. So when you have those buyers, even if you don't have any deals, you can just run right in here and see asking price 55, worth 83. Look at this, asking price 34, worth 73. Guys, even if you don't have a deal, gosh, this is why we start pushing you real hard to get to get your buyers lined up, because we're going to reveal some things we already have. The deal is done for you, to where you can literally just scroll through and start scooping up deals right away. We're talking about wholesale deals, landlords, which we're focusing on now, foreclosures and REOs. If you don't have access to the MLS, you might not be able to get into some of this. You can just jump right in and see all of these different $24,000 per house. That's out of control. Tim, this is really impressive what you've been able to organize. for people. So, guys, and some of the action that we're talking about here, again, we're going to go into that in detail in other trainings. I just wanted to make sure you understood just how amazing it was. We have your website you have to set up is your dodeals.com/$1. Okay, not dollar account, just $1. Okay, and you can get right in there. It's super easy to find buyers and more. And then we also have Connected Investors. If you guys have not got signed up with Connected Investors yet, what you can do with Connected Investors, something that's really cool, is once you start building your different buyers lists, okay, you can literally you can organize all your buyer leads simply by just clicking on a button, and you can organize all your buyer leads. We're going to go through all of this. If you get into Connected Investors, right inside the there's a step-by-step guide that goes over how to do a whole lot of fun stuff. Okay, and you'll see, Tim, look at this guy right here. He has 230 investors on a wholesale list in Ellenwood, Georgia.
That's awesome.
That's pretty impressive, guys. So you'll see the techniques that we're showing work, because this guy right here has 230 investors on his list. So have some fun kind of clicking around. And available, I mean, you guys are really going to enjoy the next couple trainings when we show you how to use these to basically, click your way to success. But it's always going to come back to your relationships with people. Okay. Every deal is going to require at least one relationship to get done. Isn't that true, Tim? He knows it. All right. Tim, do you have any closing words?
I mean, we've taught you a lot today. We don't want to overwhelm you anymore. And our next training is going to be on next week. And so you have a week to go and implement this. All right. So please, 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 make good use of what Ross and I are teaching you. Don't let our time here teaching you go to waste. Put down a plan right now. Right now, take your pen and take your paper. Write down what you're going to implement first, when you're going to implement it by, and then just write down 5 things. That's it. I just want 5 things that you're going to implement and the date that you're going to implement it by, and just focus on implementing those 5 things. Don't do anything else until you're done with those 5 things. And once you're done with those 5 things, then you can go do something else. But focus, focus, focus.
That's awesome. And module number 2 is an exciting one. Tim, what are we going over in module 2?
Yes, in module number 2, we're going to talk about how to find all of the deals, you can ever handle. And
all the deals you can ever handle.
Yes, and we're going to talk a lot about deals in module number 2, and and how you can find deals starting the same night that we're doing the webinar. And without spending any money in marketing, without ever leaving your house. All you need is your phone or your email, and you'll be able to find deals and start doing deals. And so this is why it's extremely important that you do your homework here for this module number 1 and start finding buyers, is because once we get to module 2 next week and you have deals, you want to make sure you have buyers already lined up to sell your deals to and start making money. Because otherwise you're just delaying the process of cash going into your pocket. Checks going into your bank account, wire funds going to your bank account. You don't want to delay that process, all right? And so you want to make sure you're ready by doing your homework for this module 1 that we're talking about today.
Oh man, Tim just laid it out there. If you guys delaying the process to having funds get wired into your bank account, it is as straightforward as it could be. Wheelbarrows full of cash are not going to come your way. unless you just do a few little things. 5 simple little actions in 1 week. That's 1 little thing a day. I know you can. I totally believe in you. Tim, this has been amazing. I can't even thank you enough for helping, for laying the foundation for everyone.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Well, thank you everybody for coming on and learning this today. I look forward to teaching you guys on next week's training.
All right, everyone. Adios. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.